is for maths, the alphabet of application. Hello and welcome to this video, and today I'm going to be taking you through some tools that you can use for maths, and we'll be looking at OneNote for Windows 10 specifically, as this has some really great maths features in it. We'll also be looking at Desmos and how you can use this in your maths lessons. We'll be looking at Geogebra, and that's a great tool for creating graph paper and setting up different activities for students to measure things and calculate things. There's also the Khan Academy, which is full of free resources that you can use with your students. And I'm also going to show you the Windows calculator, because there's a few features with that you may not already know. So if you didn't already know, OneNote for Windows 10 has a range of features to support maths and learning. The main one being the maths tools, which are shown in the screenshot here. I'm going to give you a demo in a second, but there's also a ruler with a compass in it, and you can also use ink to math if you use a stylus with digital ink. So here I am in OneNote for Windows 10, and this is just an example of a diagram that we've got on a particular page. Now, the ruler feature does only work with touchscreen devices, but if you've got a tablet or something like that, then your owners will actually be able to use the ruler and work out the actual angles of particular lines on a particular diagram, and that can obviously be really quite useful. Another great feature of the actual ruler is the fact that when you use the ruler and draw on the OneNote, it's actually going to put on there a straight line for you, just like this. And just like that. If we can do it correctly, then there we go. And you're able to actually move the ruler around, and then that will actually let us draw another line exactly straight like that. So that's the ruler. Now, one of the amazing features of OneNote itself is the ability to use the maths feature here. Now, just to note, as a teacher, you can turn this on or off. But what I'm going to do to start off with is we're going to first off just create a simple formula. So we're going to say 2x plus 5 equals 12. Okay, so now I've written out my formula. My handwriting's not the best, so I'm going to select that, and I've just used the mouse for that, but I could let's do that with my pen, and I can use the maths feature here. So I'm going to click on maths, and you'll see the formula that it's picked up here. Now you'll notice it hasn't picked my x up, it very rarely does. And what we can do here is we can actually circle around that x, and it will give us a range of options on what it thinks we actually meant for that. So I pick the correct symbol for my equation on there and click done. Now if I want to, I can click on ink to maths, and that's actually going to change that into text. But if we just go back to how it was before, and we can actually now solve this equation, we can graph it in both sides, we can graph it in 2D. Let's look at the solved equation. So here's the answer. We can now copy that onto the page. But the really important thing for learning is that the learners understand how that they solve that. So they can actually get the steps to solve that equation here. They can access the immersive reader here if they need to have the instructions read out. But they can also copy that onto the page as well. And the final little added feature in OneNote for maths is the ability to generate a practice quiz. This is a really great feature that learners can do on their own if they're working on a particular type of calculation and they don't understand the question types. They can generate a quiz with a specific number of questions, up to 20, and that will actually generate for them a practice quiz. They can then answer the questions, and this is immediately without any intervention from the teacher. Come along and answer those questions and can actually see what they scored and what they got right. This enables your learners to go back and revise and work on these skills themselves. So Desmos is a web-based tool that you can actually use with your students, and it's got some really great activities on there. You're able to actually create classes and assign the activities to those classes, or you can just use the activities with a single use code, which allows your students to join with that. You're able to track the completion of your students, so you can see exactly what they're up to as well. So let's take a look. So here I am on the Desmos homepage, and I'm just signed in with a free account. You can see all of the activities on the home page, some featured ones, but if you want to dive deeper you can actually view all of the collections, and these are collections of activities organised by different topics. If we click into one of these, you'll see all of the different activities there, and you can click the plus if you want to add these to your own collection, for example. If you click into the activities, it will tell you all of the information that you need to know about the activities your students will be asked to do in that particular task. If you decide you want to use this with your students, you can assign it to your classes, or you can create a single session code. Your classes can be viewed down the side here, and you can create these and then invite students to them using the code. But you can also view your single sessions that you've got running under your activity history. If we just pop into Exploring Triangle area, you'll see that it displays the join information that students need to join this activity. If we just click on there, this takes you to the dashboard, and you can actually see the different tasks that the students need to complete and which students have actually completed them, which ones they've got wrong and which ones they've got correct. And this can be really useful for you to keep a track of engagement and to make sure that your students are completing the activity. If we just pop over to the actual student view, you can see that the student's able to go through and answer the questions as they like. They can put in their answers, and on some of them it will even show them what their other classmates have answered on that particular question. So they can have a go at the activities as much as they like, and then they can answer them and then just see exactly what other students have answered there. This is then going to actually show on the teacher dashboard that those students are completing the activities. Geogebra is another web-based tool that you can use to support maths learning theory, and it's got some great little activities and interactive calculators that you could perhaps use as a presentation tool for teaching maths, or even let your learners have a look to practice the skills that they're learning. You can embed GeoGebras into OneNote and Teams, so that's really great for integration, and you're also able to track the learner progress on activities that you've assigned to them. So here we are on the GeoGebra homepage, and you'll see at the top here you've got the Start Calculator and Classroom Resources. I'm signed in with my Office 365 work account, and basically if we click on Calculator you'll see there's a whole range of different things you can use here. So this could be good for students just to practice, or for you to use as a presentation tool during one of your lessons. You'll see there's different types of calculators up at the top, so we have geometry and different things like that, and you can actually use the different tools down the side as well to interact with that calculator. If we click back to GeoGebra there, we can click on the resources and have a little look through some of the resources available. These little handy things will let you jump to a particular topic, and we can actually just have a look at some of the basic things such as fractions. So you can actually see the types of activity they are. It gives you a bit of an instruction as to what the task involves. But if we click into one of them up at the top here, you'll see the different activities that are contained within that. And you can click through these and you can actually have a look through to see what your students will be asked to do. If you want to use this with your students, you can click Create a Class and give your class a name, and it will show you the activities that are being put in there and any other resources with it. If we click Create, and that's going to take us to the dashboard. When students join, you'll be able to see the progress of your students on there. If we click on the GeoGebra to return to the home page and go to the profile, you'll see here the different classes that I've already got running. And if we click into this one, this is just showing the students that have completed this particular activity, and you can see that the progress of where the students are at. And if you want to actually jump in and see the answers that the students left, then you can do that by clicking through, and it will show you what the students answered when they worked through that activity. The Khan Academy is a free web-based tool as well, and it contains resources for teaching maths, science, computing and quite a bit more. You do need to sign up for Khan Academy to access the resources and set up your class, but once you've set up your class, you can then assign course content or activities to that class for the students that are enrolled in the class. Your students do need an account to use Khan Academy to be in your class, but you can actually set up the account for them if they're under 13 and assign them a username and a password. It's got a really nice gamification element from the student side where they can earn badges as they progress through the content. So here I am on the Khan Academy homepage, and like I said, you do need to be signed in to access Khan Academy resources and to set up your classes. So I've got a few classes set up here. It's a simple case of actually entering your class name. So we're going to have a Tuesday 9 AM class there. If you do use Google Classroom, you can import your class from Google Classroom like it says, but I'm just setting one up manually. You pick the type of content that they're actually working on, so we'll look at linear algebra in this class and click next. Like I said, the students need to have an account too to sign in so you can track their progress. So if you have students under the age of 13, then it's best to create the student accounts. If they're over the age of 13, then you can just give them a join link and they can set up their own accounts through Khan Academy like that. So it's entirely up to you how you get your students out there. You will be asked to set your country and just to indicate what country you're in and that you are a teacher teaching on behalf of a school. Once you've done that, your class is created and you'll be able to actually see your students once they join. If we just pop over to the multiple courses class there, you'll see we've got Stan and he's enrolled as a student. We're able to go through and look at the activities. These all came up because when we create the class we pick those topics. So these now come up and we can actually look at the different things. We can pop into the lesson, have a little check to see what tasks they're going to be asked to do, and then we can actually choose to assign them. The tick box there is going to actually assign the whole set of units for that particular lesson. We can click assign. It's then going to come up asking when do we want them to have completed this by, so we can set the time and date, and then we can just click assign. That's then going to assign that to the student and they've got the deadline and they can see the task that they want to complete. If we pop over now to the student dashboard, we can actually see these here and these are all the activities that have been assigned to that class. So there's quite a few. It shows the deadline and everything like that, and you can see the start button there, so we can actually click into any of these and click start. One of the great little features of the student dashboard are the badges and the gamification that's available within there to engage your students and make them more excited about learning and completing the activities that have been set. So the Windows calculator is possibly a tool that you already know about, but do you know about all of its hidden features? So many people already know that the Windows calculator is there and it does have a scientific mode, but it's also got a graphing mode and a programmer's mode and a couple of other different things. On top of that, it has a conversion facility, so you can convert between different measurements and units, and it's really great and easy to use, and it's built in Windows 10. So you'll all be familiar with the Windows calculator, but did you all know that it has a variety of different functions that can support maths? So obviously I'm not going to go through the basics with you here, but you'll see if you actually click on the 3 lines there for your navigation menu, you'll see that you've got a variety of different options that you can choose for your calculator. So if we just pop into the scientific calculator and we actually make this larger, you'll see that we've actually got quite a lot of different things that we can use within this scientific calculator. And this is straight built into Windows 10. You've also got a graphing calculator, you've got a programmer's calculator, and you've also got date calculations there as well. If you need your students to do conversions, there's also a range of different conversions that they can use this for, and they can change between the measurements and the units, and they can enter things in like that, and it will give them all of the answers that they require that you've asked for. So this is a really great tool. If you teach maths, it's free to use and it's there straight on your Windows 10 PC. So that's just a few of the tools that you can actually use for teaching maths. There's a whole range of different features and facilities, so go out there, experiment, try these with your students and make maths fun. Thanks for watching.